Yes, I'm about to do that.
Fantastic. You've muted.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
so let me just introduce Jamie, and then I'm going to mute myself. I met Jamie for the first time in 2014 at CSUN. When I first met him, or when I first saw him, I should say, I really didn't know what to think. The following day after I first saw him, I attended 2 of his presentations, was completely blown up. So with that, Jamie has graciously decided to participate in this event tonight, showing us about his assistive technologies. With that, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that's me going. So I'm going to go for it and assume that it's working, because I can't hear anything, to say the least, anything else. So I'm just going to share my slides with you now. And let's get on with this. So I'm going to start at the top, and I think I've got about 20 minutes. So I'm going to run through these quite quickly, and hopefully you can all hear me and see me. So here goes nothing. There's no feedback, so I'm just going to go for it and hope this is working. Okay, so yeah, my name is Jamie, and I'm autistic, and that leads to several different things in my life. But today I'm going to talk about assistive technology. My definition of assistive technology might be a little bit different to other people's, because to me, assistive technology is technology that appears to be magic. So to me, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And for the assistive technology that I use day to day, it basically is magic. It's magic within my life. So hopefully everybody can see that. I want to talk about 2 bits of assistive technology today. So the first is alternative communication, and then the second is how I use my Apple Watch. So I'm going to start off with alternative communication. So as Dennis probably alluded to in the introduction, I'm not sure because I didn't hear most of it, I find speech quite difficult and I can't always speak. There are very specific situations where my speech flows well, like now, because I'm here with support. But a lot of the time I have trouble getting sentences to flow. And this is especially a problem in my day-to-day life around places like cafes and when I'm alone in public. So the first piece of assistive technology I'd like to tell you about is Proloquo for Text. It's an assistive communication application. I type in what I want to say, I hit play, and then it plays it out as sound for me so that I can communicate with people. It also has a mode where I can hit the big screen mode, in this little corner here, and it will make it really big on the text so that I can show it to people. It also has an Apple Watch that's preloaded with all of my preferences for the cafe. So when I go into the cafe, I can just play them the sounds preloaded or show them what I'd like. This, to me, is the ultimate backup solution, because even if I'm verbal, simply having it in the pocket gives me the confidence to explore new places and to go into town and to do things more independently. The second type of support that I use, when I'm at home, I have some paid carers who help me to live independently, and almost none of them have ever heard me speak. I find it incredibly difficult to speak to people who are part of my day-to-day life. I find speaking to strangers and speaking on the internet really easy, especially now, because I'm basically just talking to my laptop and hoping that you can hear me. And hopefully that's a joke good enough that somebody laughed. I don't know. So right now I'm just a crazy person talking to my laptop. But yeah, so iMessage is what we use to communicate between me and the support people. I quite often hide in my bedroom and we write messages backwards and forwards. And during the evening routine, they kind of tell me what to do. And then the second communication thing that we use is the Telegram app. We have a special chat room set up there called the Herders. And the Herders are a group of friends who look after me and support me with things that I do. And they all live nearby, and we tend to chat on the Herders to kind of organise day-to-day things, go sort out events, sort out who's visiting when, and all that sort of stuff. So what we do is we communicate in the methods that I find easy. And for work, it's a similar thing. We use Slack and stuff. We always start with text-based communication, and then we build up. We progressively enhance with our communication from something that's very easy and low intensity to greater and greater intensity and demands. So that covers the alternative communication stuff. And I'll answer some questions on that shortly. But for now, I'm going to quickly move on to the second piece of assistive technology in my life, which is my Apple Watch. So there's two areas where my Apple Watch really helps me. They are executive function and health. Executive function is the posh name for learning how to do things in order, or executing a list of tasks in a way that you wanted to. So everything from making a cup of tea to planning your day is executive function. If you've ever seen me looking around a little bit dazed and confused, that dazed and confused look and not quite sure what to do next, that's also executive function. So one of the ways that I use my watch is that I use the watch faces as separate modes within my life. So the middle mode there is how I leave it normally. It's just telling me the time. However, the mode on the left is my day-to-day mode. When I'm moving around and when I'm doing bits and bobs around the home, that's the mode that I'll have it in. And then the mode on the right is my mode for when I'm out and about. So I have it playing music, I'm tracking walks or runs, I have any alarms I've got visible, and I have a communication option right there on the home screen. So these modes, they follow me through my life and turn it into a very adaptable tool. Another good example of this is if you take the default calendar widget and you add some emojis, you get like a miniature visual timetable. And if I scroll backwards and forwards on the wheel, I get a preview of what's coming up in my day. This is also really useful because it helps me predict the day that's coming and manage my energy accordingly. It's also very memorable. It's useful to have memorability built into what I'm doing. The next app that helps with my executive function is called Streaks. I do very well when there is something I need to do every day. I like getting into streaks. The longest streak I've had is of cycling, which was to cycle at least 1 kilometer, which I completed for 87 days in a row. So this use of streaks is very useful to me, and having it on my watch and having it buzz and remind me to do things like brush my teeth or drink more is incredibly helpful. Finally, in the executive functioning, it also helps me with my finances. As I lose things often, having a way to pay for things, such as travel, strapped literally to my wrist is quite a reassuring thing to have. It makes it very hard to lose. I can also check my balances and ensure that I'm not going to run out of money, and will be able to afford to get home. So the second part of how the watch helps me is when it comes to health. Now, one of the interesting things about the watch is that the watch is collecting data about my body. And interestingly, occasionally, the data can actually tell a more complete story of what's happened than I can. So a great example of this would be we had a new carer, and it was clear that I was very anxious. But it was only when we looked at it and saw that my heartbeat was regularly over 130 for 140 beats per minute for hours at a time, did we realize quite how much of an effect that was having on me. And we realized that we needed to do something different. So sometimes data can tell a story that I can't tell myself. And there's other areas where I can't tell things as well. So for example, I'm not so good at knowing when I need to go to the loo or when I need to drink. So having my watch track fluids for me, remind me to drink, remind me to go to the bathroom, is everyday support that's very effective and gives me a greater degree of autonomy and independence. So when I started this, I said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And I've tried to keep it short, but to me, both of these devices are magic. I have a supercomputer in my pocket and I have a supercomputer on my wrist. These technologies combine to give me a huge degree of autonomy and also to help me to communicate and ultimately have more independence in my life. So thank you for listening, and that's the slides part of it. Hopefully there's some questions, and hopefully that worked. Did that work, Dennis? You're still muted. I can't hear anything. You're still muted. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if that worked at all.
Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Did that work?
Woo! That worked. Woo! All right. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to open this up for questions. What I'm going to ask that you do is to actually speak up or come up to ask your questions, especially because I can't. I'm really bad at reciting what someone has asked, especially since they tend to get lengthy. So anyone with questions? Yes. Here comes Nicole.
I always have questions.
Yes.
Does it make sense to flip the video so we're seeing?
Would you like me to?
Yeah, you can stand over here.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. My question is, how intuitive was it to set up your wearable to be customizable for what you needed it to do? And if you did run into any problems, what were some of those problems?
It wasn't too bad. I must admit, it did require a little bit of Googling in order to work out how to have multiple modular watch faces. That was the hardest thing. You have to press and hold and pick from a list. And I had to Google that. For most of the rest of it, it was quite straightforward. I'm a technical person, so that helps. And I think, yeah, beyond the watch face thing where I got a bit confused, it was quite straightforward. Adding the emoji to the calendar items so that I could recognize them by icon, that was probably the single biggest thing I ever did to make it more usable for me. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions? Yes. One moment. Sometimes we have handheld microphones, not this time. So I'm going to get used to this eventually. 1 second, Jamie.
Cool. Hello.
Okay.
Hello, and thank you. My question is pretty simple. I was just wondering if I know that Apple tends to have really good accessible features compared to Android. How well would, say, an Android watch compare to the Apple Watch in this regard?
My experiences have not been good, but my experiences are probably not in date either. I haven't tried any of the latest Android stuff. I've got an iPhone, so I've kind of stuck with the iPhone because that's what I've got in my pocket. If I swap to Android, I would probably really miss the Apple Watch because I don't think there's any real like-for-like comparisons. It's not as mature a product, but you know, I'm sure I could make it work or work it out. A lot of this stuff, it's inventing it as you go, and it's kind of trying to use the tools that are already there to support me as easily as possible, rather than trying to make something.
Okay. Any other questions? Going once. They're very quiet here, Jamie. I'm not sure. I don't think you put them to sleep. I think it's our jury weather today.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, Jamie.
Okay. So next, we have Alan, who's going to show us. I'm just going to put this lapel mic here. Alan, who's going to show us a refreshable braille display. Now, this takes just a second of setup, because if you have people sitting all the way back there, and this unit is about the size of this, just a little bit larger than this power pack. So what we're going to do is we're going to show Alan, and then as technology allows us to, we're going to zoom in. So let's see how this works. Okay, Alan, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so before I get sticker,
Yeah.
I can amplify the sound. Let's see here. And there you go. Okay, let's see if we get sound now. Well.
Not selected El Braille.
Oh, there you go. All right. Can everyone hear that? Okay. So first of all, let's talk about what the El Braille is. Okay. Actually, it's really in two parts. Okay. This is actually called the El Braille 14. You can get the El Braille 40. Now, it has two different sizes you get. Okay. What that means that the 14, which I have here, it has a single line on the bottom of Braille that's only 14 characters across. They call them cells. Okay, so they could be as I move along here, and I'm actually using a button to just skim through without even reading, without the jaw speaking. So I could get up to 18 characters across the page, and so now it's has the I'm hearing a lot of feedback.
Yeah,
That's
go
okay.
ahead.
We'll
I just moved.
okay.
That's the second camera.
Okay. All right. So you have what's called the Focus 14, which has the Braille and all these keys. I'm touching here if you guys can see these. And then the outside here is another piece of machine. It's a docking station. That's actually called the El Braille. So these two dock together, and it looks like just one unit, and it runs Windows 10. Right now I'm running the latest build for 1709. No one has 1803 yet, unless you're in the fast ring. And we're going to show you how this works today. Now, in addition, I also brought this external keyboard, so at some point I'll probably plug that in just to show you that you could also use it as a sighted person. And on the side here, we also have a mini HDMI port, so you connect it to a monitor, and it becomes a fully useful computer for sighted people as well. Okay, so you don't need to know Braille to use this machine. So what's it running? Okay, besides Windows 10, it only has 2 gigs of RAM. Surprisingly, though, whenever I've done the updates, for this, the creators updates, it's gone very fast. It has the C drive only has 30 gigs, but it has a 160 gig SSD as well. So it's pretty powerful machine. It's not like your high-end computers, but it does the job. It's portable. I could be online anywhere I go. It's wonderful. So now these keys here, can everyone see this keys I'm touching? Is that? Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. So these are the keys you use to write Braille. These keys, along with this key here called the space bar, are the ones we use to navigate and perform various actions. Okay, so for example, they call them quoting. Okay, and these quoting keys simulate what I would do on this regular keyboard here. So let's say I'm on, if I wanted to go down arrow, I just do a quote command to go down arrow.
This PC.
And that's this PC.
Network. Recycle bin. L notes. F reader 3.0.
Okay, so I'm on the desktop. Okay, with verified, I'll do a title.
Title is desktop 1.
Okay, now what I'm gonna do next is just to show you how it looks just like the Windows 10 PC you would have. I am going to go to the desktop. Now the Windows. Go to Windows, and of course it's gonna be press right. There it is.
Folder view not selected. FS reader 3.0. 6 of 20.
And it just kicked me right back out of it.
Search box edit.
There it is. There our familiar search box. Gonna hit the tab simulation key.
Tab. Start list box. Toggle start navigation menu item.
And there it is.
1 of 4.
I'm going to hit time.
Tab. All apps checked. All apps list box. Most used.
Okay, and this is where I have all my apps, just like your regular laptop. Okay, we could go into different things,
File Explorer.
and which I'm going to do that.
Internet
Let's see.
Explorer.
I'm just looking at
Notepad. JAWS 2018. Settings.
there. Those
Suggested. Overdrive dash library ebooks and audiobooks. Price
Yes.
:3 rated :4.
and it's giving me a suggested overdrive. Okay,
A. Access. Alarms and B. Folder.
again, I'm still just doing the down arrow.
C. Calculator. Calendar.
Now let's say if I was in here and I did not want to just down arrow to the stuff,
Connect.
I wanted to get to something very fast. Let's say like weather. Okay, I'm gonna hit W,
W. Weather.
and there it is right off the top. It's the first one in the W's.
Windows accessories.
If I
folder.
go down there, I'll find the other. So, but I would get to where I want to go really fast. Like if I hit T,
Team Viewer 11.
Team Viewer. If I wanted tips, the down arrow, and I found tips. Okay, so you can navigate this thing very, very fast. Just like you would using the braille commands that we call chording, okay, or chord commands. They're all the same thing, and those are different. Like I said, key combinations with the space bar. These different letters. Now, if I want to go to back to the desktop, again, we're gonna go form a chord command to go there. And of course, it decided, hey, there it goes.
Not selected. FS Reader 3.0. 6 of 20.
See, I always get nervous and decide to take his time. Said, no, it's not going to work this time, you know. Oh, and believe me, it has happened, you know. So now, let's say I want to. I actually have a notepad document open in here. It's blank. I'm going to go ahead and open that notepad document.
Window list dialog. Running application. Untitled dash notepad minimize.
There it is.
Untitled dash notepad edit.
So if I want to type, huh?
So you don't get feedback in your own typing.
Actually, you know what? See, I jinxed myself. It decided not to type. This is an open notepad document. It decided not to type though.
Title is untitled dash notepad.
So let's try it now.
Toggle file notepad.
Come on.
This is a great day.
Oh, it did type. Okay, it delayed it. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Okay.
Not six.
Other means you have your typing echo on.
No. Okay. So the typing echo is on.
Double E space E space L E N I S space P space T S space.
Okay.
Not E L. Not six B R A L L L O B.
Okay.
L L E.
And there it is. Now, of course, I could turn off the typing echo.
Speech on demand.
And now I can continue to type. Okay. And so now I'll go ahead and turn the speech back on, and I'll let it read what I just typed.
Full speech. We are learning about the Yelp. When will we have decent weather?
Okay, that's my question. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I have total control on how you do things, as you can turn on speech. Now with the latest, it used to be you could just simply mute the speech. Now they have something called speech on demand, which doesn't totally mute the speech, but it, you know, if you want to type and you want silence, you can, you know, do that. I have not really played with speech on demand very much yet, because I usually just use my certain keys to read in silence. For example, I'm going to go to the top of the file.
Top of file, notepad.
And somebody type notepad up here. Okay. So now I am skimming through here with a panning key and reading that this is a great day. We're learning about the braille and when we have decent weather, and just very fast. But I'm going to demonstrate how that works on the internet in this section. Going to read something I did not type. Okay. So now again, just like anything else, I can close it. I'm going to go ahead with the Alt F4 command.
Notepad dialog.
Now,
Do you want to save changes to the title? Save button, Alt+S.
and of course, I do not want to save it, so I'm going to hit the tab and go to Don't Save.
Tab, don't save button, Alt+N. Desktop, folder
Okay.
view, list view, not selected, FS Reader 3.
Wow. Okay, now, you're going to go over to the internet at this point. The page is loaded.
Window list dialog. Running applications box. Freedom Scientific homepage dash Internet Explorer minimize. 1 of 1. Freedom Scientific homepage dash Internet Explorer. Freedom Scientific homepage. Freedom Scientific homepage.
Okay, so now I'm on the Freedom Scientific homepage. This is the L-Braille is made by the Elita Group in Russia. Freedom Scientific or VFO are the distributors of this product in the United States. And I don't know if there are other places in the world, but they definitely are the distributors in the United States. Not sure about the UK.
Same page links.
So
main
now,
content.
I'm looking for
Freedom Scientific homepage.
products. Okay, so here's something that I tend to be very nosy. And so when I go to a page, people, why don't you just use the links list dialog if you're using speech software, whether it be JAWS or NVDA, you can bring up a list of links and just find what you're looking for. If I'm not familiar with the website, I hate to do it because I'm nosy. I want to know what is there. I want to know it all. Now, I'm familiar with this page. So in this case, I will bring up the links list dialog. Again, using using the command. And now I'm going to probably screw it up. Let's see what we do here.
Links list view. Skip to make.
Okay, so I'm looking for products.
P. Product submenu.
There it is right there. I'm going to hit enter.
Product submenu. Link.
And now we're going to skip down here.
Empowering Independence trademark heading level 1. JAWS registered screen reader heading level 2 link visited.
So I'm using the letter H to just skip by headings.
Low vision solutions heading level 2.
And I'm going to go.
Blindness solutions heading level 2 link visited.
And that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and enter on that.
Enter. Blindness solutions heading level 2 link visited.
And okay. So now I'm going to again hit the letter H.
News heading level 2 link. Events heading level 2 link. Software releases heading
Actually,
level 2
no, I'm not
link.
going to hit H.
Freedom Scientific Hope empowering independence straight. Freedom Scientific for over 20 years. Our products of same page link graphic switch to carousel slide 1. JAWS registered screen reader heading low vision solutions heading level 2 link.
Why can't I find what I'm looking for all of a sudden? Okay, let's try this again.
Freedom Scientific homepage. Blindness solutions. Services sublink download submenu. Link support submenu. Blindness solutions heading level 1.
There we go.
Visited link graphic computer screen with JAWS menu. Blank. Visited heading level 2 link JAWS register. Blank. JAWS enables people with vision loss to write a .gov. Home. Tab. Braille 14.
That's what I'm
link
looking for.
graphic.
Okay, so this is just a little thing about the Braille 14. So I'm gonna
Blank.
down arrow here.
Visited heading level 2 link Braille rec blank. Braille is the newest portable solution.
Now, let's say I don't want to hear the noise, but it's late at night. I don't want to hear JAWS. I can turn it off, and I can still have total access to the Braille. And just read this. It just simply says here, Braille is the newest portable solution. Let's try this again. I'm skipping part of it. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, Braille is the newest portable solution for the blind in the logical next step in note-taker development. It uses JAWS to provide speech and Braille output, and the JAWS Braille in feature to allow complete control of Braille from the Perkins-style Braille keyboard. Okay, there's a little blurb about what the Braille is. Okay, now, but it doesn't stop. Like I said, you could just do so much with this. One of the things I'm gonna do at this point, I'm actually gonna go to another website that I have not looked at today, and we'll go take a look at it. But they change, and hit and activate a command to
Control O, open dialog. Type the internet address of A, F, E, period, O, R, G, 3A, A, 33.
I messed that up.
C, C, E, S, S, W, O, R, L, D, comma. Okay,
there we go.
Braille is the newest portable solution.
It's going to read that don't need to be quiet. Okay, so I don't know if any of you, what I like to do in the case like this is visit websites that work very well for blind people. So I'm sure Ray is familiar with Access World. Yeah, and
Tab. Address and search using Midnet Shift tab.
come on.
Land.
This is why what we do as far as accessibility is so
Land.
important, because
Land.
sites don't work if, there's one-
Title is Access World dash home page dash Internet Explorer.
Okay, so and you know what? It's showing the title and I'm bringing it up. So
Land.
that's not nice.
Land.
So, but and what I just wanted to go through that page and just show you guys, you know, what kind of stuff it does. Also, you know, in here I do have Office. I can use Excel. I can, you know, use PowerPoint. You know, if I had this thing hooked up to through the HDMI port, doing Braille will show up on the screen and print. So, and right now, for whatever reason, Access homepage is giving me total blank.
Land.
So actually, for now, it's not very nice. So, and
Speech on demand.
so let's see. Let me try something here. I'm gonna try this.
Hit F5 on it, see if you refresh it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. And it did not. I'm sorry, I had put on speech on demand. So, well, it's about cocaine. That's what we need to know about. Okay.
Full speech.
Okay, let's try this again.
Land.
All right, so I got out of it. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up again.
Control open dialog. Type the A T dot F D
Okay.
period O R D slash A C C E S W O R L D. Edit unavailable computer braille. Home dash welcome to Lenovo.
That took me to Lenovo.
You went ORD, Alan.
I did? Okay, well, not Access World. Sorry. Okay.
Land.
Let's try. Okay, we'll try this one more time. So this is okay. Okay, now it's not giving me anything.
Control plus Shift plus D to modify the default dictionary file.
Oh.
Otherwise, changes will affect only the current application. Internet Explorer.jdf-JAWS Dictionary Manager. Add ... button Alt plus A. Add ... button Alt plus A. app.org/access world bin Internet Explorer. app.org/access world Alt F4.
Okay. Let's try this again.
Desktop folder view list view not select.
And I just got it. Okay. So I'm gonna go back in here.
Internet Explorer.
And if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna mute this speech just for a second. It's a little bit loud for me. I'll explain to you what I'm doing.
Speech on demand.
Okay, so I'm gonna open this up here, and because give me a lot of verbiage that's really just gonna get in the way. And right now it's just okay. It's asking me for certain what they have on here. And I guess I don't know why they do this, but they have cursor routing keys, which means you can move your cursor around. But sometime when they get stuck on something, you get this message that process silence says press a routing key, and then it starts working. Okay, now I think we are back. All right, so I'm gonna turn this back on.
Full speech.
And let's try this again and see if I can get it right this time.
Inverted question.
Really?
There are no articles on this page. Control type the internet of A F D tier O R G /A C E S W O R L E. Edit unavailable computer braille. MSN vertical bar Outlook, Office, Skype, Bing, breaking news, and latest videos. Access World dash homepage. Access World dash homepage.
All right.
Access
Okay.
World dash homepage.
So now we're there. So what Access World does, they have a monthly magazine all about Brian's product. If any of you want to see a site that really looks nice and even describes the graphics on it,
Access World app heading level 2 link.
Access World is perfect for that.
Contact heading level 2 link.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that side of view. You just want a good site just to look at and say, okay, how they're done for accessibility.
Heading
It's
level
a great
2 link
site.
advertisers.
And I'm skimming through
Back
here.
issues heading level 2 link. Slideshow of Access World heading level 2.
If they could do slideshows.
AFP announces 2017 scholarship recipients heading level 3. We have awarded our 2017 scholarships to 8 outstanding students who are blind or visually impaired and pursuing their.
Okay, so I'm just basically skimming through this with, again, the heading command. And it's probably the most common thing. I think we all know that headings is probably the most common way to get through a lot of websites. I find very few websites do not have headings.
Conference coverage heading level 3.
Sometimes you find some with tables. This does not have any tables on it at all.
Product reviews and guides heading level 3.
This is always a fun product reviews and guides. So now I'm gonna, instead of going by heading, I'm gonna down arrow to see what's in here.
Listed items. Graphic office worker sitting at computer.
So they're the graphic office worker sitting at computer. Okay, so let's say graphic. So so if you were looking at this, you would see as an office worker sitting at a computer, the screen reader. You get that description.
Let's link a review. Let's browse happy to more easily and effectively navigate in the internet with a screen reader. Quote and audio to support.
This is one of the things they're reviewing, and this is cool. I've not read it. I don't know if Ray has. You know what it is?
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, it's a review of Stress Less. Browse Happy, your guide to more and effectively navigating the internet with a screen reader. Okay, and it's audio from a company called Mystic Access. Again, another company that has great stuff for blind people and blind and low vision solutions. And what they do, they get a lot of they do a lot of tutorials, a lot of training. So, and all the stuff, again, like I say, with the L braille, I'm sure it's probably somewhere on the website they may have a training thing in L braille because it's stuff in there. Is amazing. So, but just want to show you guys that. Let's see.
By Jamie Pauls.
And if you guys have questions, you can. And I'm gonna just tell you right now, the only browsers I have in here are Edge, Firefox, and I have not upgraded to the latest version of Firefox. The older versions no longer work. So, but again, like I say, it's a fully accessible machine.
What am I doing? I'm raising my hand. I know you can't see it.
You know what?
Alan, so this is a fully functional, full Windows 10 computer.
Yes.
You have in front of you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And again, what I'm going to do actually at this point, just to show you that if you wanted to, and we had this connected to a monitor. Oops. I'm trying to hold this in on the side here. I'm going to plug in this USB.
How much do you type in working style versus recording keyboard?
I never tested myself.
No, I mean, like, do you
Oh no, on this, yeah, I use both. Yeah, I use both. Oh, here we are again. We're on this.
Listen, that's in level 1.
I'm using the same. Okay, so I'm
graphic student and teacher working at a computer.
Okay, there we go.
List of what link accessible.
So I'm using the down arrow. I'm going to actually close this.
Alt F4, Internet Explorer tab, close current, enter.
And then what I'm going to
welcome to Lenovo.
Let's go back into Notepad. So I'm going to go use the Windows key.
Page has 8 frames.
We're going to silent speech there.
Search box edit. Enter ADP login.txt.
That's not what I'm looking for.
Search box edit. N. T. A. Notepad. Desk. Enter.
There you go.
Untitled dash notepad. Edit.
So again, I can still type here the same kind of stuff we're looking at before.
TAIS space. Space.
And
period.
There it is.
Enter.
And I think I was typing a little bit too fast for the speech, but I wrote.
This is a great day.
Okay, and that's all it is. Okay, and I should have wrote warm day. I'm still looking for that warm weather, guys. I'm sorry. Can't seem to get it. Okay, so so again, you know, you can type. I could edit.
This is a great day.
If I wanted to. Now I could do this either with braille or otherwise.
S space I S space A E.
Okay,
R.
my it's not responding properly.
E.
Yeah, oh, that's weird.
R.
Okay, so you know, you can change things on. You could, you know, totally edit your work. You know, I think, you know, if I was in, you know, I could change the fonts. You know, do anything you can on the Windows 10 computer. I could do on this computer. Okay. Again, those are, like I said, it's not as fast as their high-end computers, but for travel purposes and for, you know, sitting there on the job when I need to take notes or something, or either, you know, record something, it's perfect because of course, you know, it does have a built-in recorder, but since, you know, all your laptops have the recorder on them these days. So yes.
It has a battery as well?
Yes, so the internal battery is usually about 20 hours.
Can you use it like on a train or?
Oh yeah.
The environment isn't stable?
Yes.
Moving around?
Yes. So I've taken my hotspot and gone on the metro train quite a lot with it. And you have to travel, you know, for a couple hours using it, you know, doing different things. You know, some of these things on here, again, the common things are Skype. You could do that anywhere you go. I have music. I'm a big music fan, so you always have music on here. You know, if you want to put books on it, you could do that, which I do have some books in Braille that I, you know, borrowed from somebody who had some books. And then I have, you know, a lot of files and that I like to keep. So it's on this machine. So.
And just so you know, for any other questions, I'll just ask you to repeat questions.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any other questions out there from you guys?
Any other questions?
I'll ask, it seems like most blind and low vision people who have smartphones are going to use an iPhone. I don't know you. What do you use?
Okay, so I do have an iPhone.
You do?
Yeah. But I mean, you know what? Honestly, and I love my iPhone. Okay. But in the question could be raised, okay, why this machine and not just iPhone? Well, you know, the iPhone has its uses. This has uses. I get, you know, reply. Sometimes I just don't want the speech. One thing. Secondly, in the middle of having some fun with something, I don't want a phone call. You know, and I know y'all have had that experience. And I mean, and this does have a GPS app on it. I've never played with it. I've never, but again, though, just like my iPhone, I really don't play with GPS on my iPhone either, because I'm in the city. I know the city, so I just, you know, just hardly ever use it.
The follow-up question to that, in terms of like market share. So iPhone, a lot of blind and low vision people use that for their phone. Do blind and low vision, are people mostly using like a Windows computer like you're using, or do people like realistically use Macs too?
So the question is, typically do people use PC-based computers with this, or do they also use Macs?
With this machine, or this just in general? In general, I mean, yeah. You know what? I mean, you see both. You see both, and I work in the building. Right now, most people there are Windows users. You do have some Macs. What I also see a little bit more of, though, that people buy their Macs and then they run Windows on it. They swear it's the best. So
I'm not one of them.
yeah, and I mean these are guys that are strong Mac users, but then they use their iPhones, they use iPads. They were using Mac sometime, but when they pull out that Mac, they're going to Windows. So.
Any other questions? Yes.
How much does this cost?
How much does this cost?
whole setup cost?
Okay, so if you had to buy JAWS, the Focus 14 and the L Braille, it probably cost you total about maybe $4,000. Okay, now I did not pay that much. Okay, it's because I already had JAWS, and then the L Braille itself was on special, and they were like $300 off, and the dealer knocked off $500 off my off the Focus 14 display. So I saved about maybe a little bit over $1,000.
Unfortunately, refreshable braille is very expensive.
Yeah.
There's a new product coming on the market that's going to change that.
Actually, there's about 3 of them out there now. That's hitting the market. Yeah, there's about 3 of them running about maybe $500 or less.
And I just, because I'm leading up to the looking at it now, you really are looking at 2 different pieces. You're looking at the Focus 14, which is actually the refreshable braille display. And then the e-braille is sort of a dock.
The L Braille is a dock. Yes, that's what I explained in the beginning. If you want, I can take my part and show them to you. It's not hard.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug this. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna uncover this, because literally, if you want, if you could literally attach an external keyboard, take this off.
Bottom of
There you go. Okay, oops.
space.
There it is. This is the little Focus 14. Okay, and so now, if I want to, I could also pair this with my iPhone. Actually, it is paired with my iPhone. So I get this little button on the side. Can I see that little button right there? This, if I turn it on, now it automatically pairs with my iPhone. But in here, there's a little bit of USB thing here. In here, this cord is extremely short. Okay. Making business. And I press the buttons.
I have a question for Alan.
Yes.
Anybody in the room, if I look at my server logs, can I detect how many users are using that device?
You could.
Where would I look?
So actually, I'm not sure. I'm gonna let you answer that question, but I'm sure you could.
I'm not sure you can detect screen readers, and that's what you'd have to go through to be able to detect that. And in fact, we don't really want people to be able to do that. No, we don't. Well, we do. We don't. Like,
Yeah, you do and you don't. Some websites, I mean, they automatically detect the user screen reader, and sometimes it's like, do you really want to know that? But how you know that? You go to the website, it will absolutely pop up. This thing will say, for screen readers, press this. A sighted person go to the same website, they will not see that. Yeah, so it is sometimes some of these sites are detecting. Yeah.
The issue with that is that, and I was just actually reading something recently about this in a blog years ago, that we don't want people saying, oh, well, nobody uses my website with a screen reader, so I'm not going to make it accessible. We don't want people doing that.
No, you don't.
Although, of course, accessibility is more than screen reader.
It is, but unfortunately, a lot of people, when they think of accessibility, the first thing they think of is speech output. That's what a lot of people think of right away. You're talking about making something on the computer accessible. People realize that there's a lot more about accessibility than just blind people.
Any other questions? Yes.
So if you're watching a video, does that translate to your braille display too, or is it?
No, because the video only gives you the audio feedback.
Let me
Oh,
just
sorry.
repeat the question. So
Sorry.
does video translate to the braille display?
Okay, and the answer to that is no, because you're just getting audio feedback. So
You
Yeah, it could. But just getting all the feedback, and it could be really interesting.
So it's basically whatever text.
Yeah, so
Just
it's
like a screen reader, that's the only thing it can actually.
yeah.
Well, when you have the closed captioning, there's not translation or transcription of audio.
You know, the closed captioning might, I don't.
Yeah, I've never played with a closed captioning before. It just might. It's that possibility. Now, like let's say for example, if I went to YouTube, I mean, of course, I can still use the braille to, pause, to stop, or to skip the ad. It's still use the braille to do that. But the actual video itself, it does not show up in braille. And now closed captioning, heck, it might be there. And I don't know, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if that could work with braille.
And all you get is the audio, you would get the
Yeah.
Alan, I have a question. So would you know, with screen reader users and refreshable braille users, obviously there's a huge cost differential, but how many refreshable braille display users would you say there are compared with screen readers?
Okay, so there would certainly be less refreshable braille users than screen readers, and I cannot really speak to the numbers. There's a couple reasons. A lot of people cannot afford these things. They're expensive, and some of your state agencies these days really don't want to perform. Some of the jobs that's if you get JAWS or get NVDA on your computer, they're happy. You just work with that. Then you also have a lot of people who, because they're blind later in life, either they don't read braille or either they read braille, very slowly, and so it's not the most comfortable thing for them.
Yes.
One more question. Maybe it's a little abstract, but if there's a relationship between Perkins input, right? Every key chord means this correlates directly to a braille cell, right? Every finger you're pressing is going to be a dot. If
Yeah.
you're going to emboss braille. Is that important when you're inputting braille? Or do you just want, is a QWERTY keyboard fine? Is that like a preferred method of big tests?
Try to repeat the question.
Okay.
Consolidated.
Let me try to repeat it. Okay. So I think what you're asking me is what's better, using a QWERTY keyboard or either using the actual braille itself. Which one ultimately ends up being better? Because of the key combinations that you have in the braille. Is that correct?
That's good.
Okay, that's good enough, right? Okay. So again, that's a personal preference. I could go either way. And now, but see, I've been blind since a child. I started learning braille when I was 4 years old, and I learned how to type on a regular typewriter when I was 8. So, and I wanted to do both and do both well. All right. Now tonight was no testament to that, but and so it becomes a personal decision. I think a lot of times braille is really being pushed by a lot of agencies like AFB, American Printing House, or NBP, National Braille Press. They really push braille, and because people, if you see something or you hear it, you perceive it differently. And it'd be the same thing with braille, as opposed to how well you understand something, hearing it, as opposed to just actually feeling the word, which is comparable to seeing it. Your perception is a little bit better.
Any more questions? Yes, all the way in back. I'll get to you. So what are the top 3 things you would improve with that technology?
Good question. I think if one of the things I would improve is a more RAM. Okay, even though RAM at this point has not been an issue, but certainly 2 gigs of RAM is. I would like to see that go to 4. which is only 30 gigs. Even despite the fact that it has a 160 gig SSD, a D drive, which is nice. And then you could put an SD card in here that's up to 256 gigs. But I would like to see the memory expanded. Both. So that's something I would like to do, because there's been times when they go through, okay, what I can move or either just simply don't need. I've already run into that issue. And so those are, I mean, that's one thing. I can't think of any. The Braille is great. I mean, it feels very nice. And Ray, if you want to feel it later, you can you can see how you'll see for yourself. It's very nice Braille. It doesn't have a lot of give to it. They're talking blindness stuff totally here, because sometimes you go look at some Braille, I'm like, oh really? I've been reading Braille for a long time, and this stuff is like hard to feel. Some people it could be too sharp. So the Braille's fine. So I can't think of anything else I would like to change. Again, with the memory expansion, if it would get away from just being sold, if it could just be sold by the Alita group, then you have the option of putting other screen readers on here and getting it to work. Now, I have gotten this to work with Narrator some. I have not tried putting NVDA on here and try to see how well I can get it to work yet.
Final question.
What piece of advice do you have for people developing websites so that they can make their websites more accessible?
Okay, so you know what? Honestly, as you make websites accessible for make them inclusive, all right, because this has you don't need to do anything special because this has Braille on it. Because if the screen readers can read it, then the Braille's going to read it.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. Hopefully, for our invite for next month's Global Ability Aware. Thanks. Oh.
Is it?
That's what happens when you put the...
Yeah, it's 7:30 already.